welcome back. Episode 67 of the Chop Up. We got a special one. We got two people that traveled from outside the country.
All came a long way.
Came a long way. From Vancouver, Canada, down to Vancouver, Washington.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, we have Dave and Gabby here from Quickie Podcast, Print Design Academy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you guys for driving down.
Thanks. It was an easy drive. Thanks for letting us crash at Lincoln Hills.
Yeah.
Sorry about the condition we left it in.
I mean,
We'll see you tomorrow about that.
Yeah. Perfect.
yeah, no, thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I was in watching when you guys first started it as well, and they're like, oh, it's so sweet. And then seeing the first location and that, like, we've been kind of, so I was really excited to see what you guys are doing.
Well, thank you guys for coming. Yeah, I'm stoked to sit down. You and I have been talking for going on, what, 4 years now that I was on?
Probably 4. 4+ for sure.
Yeah, so you had reached out to me to be on the podcast.
Yeah, that led to, I think we did another one for the Print Design Podcast regarding some print stuff.
Yeah.
You've been a part of the Print Design Summits that we've done as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're a print fan. So, that was awesome to possibly get out there, too.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing that stood out to me was I was like, oh shit, this guy Dave was like into print. Like, and I had talked about it before, but I always have been. I started my, design career in kind of, in-house, doing a lot of catalogs and advertising and stuff like that. So everything I designed at one point was printed, right?
Yeah.
And it's seems like over the last, 20 years of my career, like some of that is getting pulled away and, whether it's the industry doesn't need it or whatever it is. So when you find people that are passionate about it and highlighting it, it's like, shit, hell yeah, let's talk print, so.
The print industry's kind of had this like cool evolution, right? There was a period of time there where like when the internet, social media all like super ramped up, it was like print's dead, print is done, print is going away. But it never did. It just evolved. Mm-hmm. People weren't, printing catalogs that had pictures of every single product that they had with price lists and all that. People stopped doing that because they realized they could just have a PDF on their website with it much easier. So what they shifted to is doing these like bespoke, beautiful brand books, much like some of the stuff that's stacked on the table here, where you're showcasing whatever product it is that you have in beautiful ways and doing like fewer, nicer things is a term that like one of the reps at Mohawk Paper always connected with me on.
Yeah.
And it's so true. So you're doing fewer, nicer things. The only company is Uline. They're still doing.
Oh man.
Gotta get that.
We buy a bunch of Uline products and get that damn book, and every time I'm like, man,
400 pages.
It's huge. It's like right in the trash.
Yeah.
Right in the recycling bin. I'm like, I don't need this.
Yes.
Shit. Leave your money.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, to your point, it's like now the stuff that is printed, there is a reason for it. It's done really well, really high quality. I feel like in some ways, like back in the day, Apple kind of set that bar. When they came out, like, and Steve Jobs even talked about, like, he wanted the packaging and the opening of whatever it was, if it was the iPhone, a MacBook Pro, whatever, that it was like an experience. Yes. And that's why it's like computer and you pull a tab and you lift it out and everything's inset and each one is its own piece, Yeah. Like he spent so much time and money on the packaging for Apple products. And people noticed and people thought, wow, I'll pay more for this because it's presented in a really nice way.
You have to think of that brand experience. And you're right by saying like Apple really like brought that mainstream. But like this, it's got to open just right. It's got to be laid just right.
Yeah.
But that's the experience.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah.
Super Bowl. And I mean, there's a total following for that all the time. I think we still reference it, the fact that people still reference how great the Apple product packaging is right now is, always so good. And it's cool that it starts in this analog. I mean, you still have to go to the store, you still have to go buy the thing, even though you're doing the digital. So that's why, like, it's not, print is still alive. Like, we are still consumer people and we need packaging. We live in a physical world. So, yeah, it's cool to keep it alive and make sure people know that they have to dive into and like make cool books.
It's on that iPhone box. It's like when designers are into the digital world, they're like, nah, it's all digital. I don't care about print. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
You still have your iPhone box? Yeah.
That right?
Yeah.
Throw it away. Yeah. Because it's so nice.
Because it has something you just can't bring yourself to throw it away because it's just so special.
You're right.
And that's what print has this opportunity to create for people, for experiences and lifelong.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like it's kind of like doing this, kind of 360 thing like everything does, whether it was fashion or whatever. But it's like there's so much digital, there's so many portfolios online that now as a designer, like you should have some physical, you know, that you can leave behind or show to people, you know, like just having that portfolio online to me isn't enough anymore.
Yeah.
You know, you can send an email with a link and this and that, and probably a fair amount of time, that's gonna be fine, you know. But if you meet somebody in person, or you go to a conference, or like we're going to Designer Con, you go there, if you can have something with you and you meet somebody, instead of saying, oh, hey, check me out, here's my handle on Instagram, like leave them with something, like they're gonna remember, and they're probably not gonna throw it away, you know. So,
Yep. I'm doing pre-designed podcast episodes where designers have just created, and even in a scrappy way, created their own sort of bespoke leave behind printed box or printed something.
Yep.
And it just gets so much more attention now landing on somebody's desk than an inbox full of PDFs. So it's become this like really easy way to stand out for designers, especially looking for clients or looking for job opportunities, to go that route. And the digital printing world has lowered the barrier to entry to be able to create something like that.
yeah, absolutely.
So you can create the beautiful printed little books, promo pieces, whatever, to promote yourself to whatever business or customer you want, for real, like cost-effective approaching the price, and do some cool things.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, there's so many good online places that you can upload your artwork, get, you know, notebooks made, portfolio newspapers, whatever it is. You know, and the cost is very low. You can make one, you can make 10, you know, whatever. So it's cool, because back in the day it was, you know, you had to commit.
Yeah, like back in the day, when you want to get something, $1,000, and then what to
Yep, exactly.
You're a student, like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, see the how the kid goes, like, so yeah, it's cool. It's definitely, there's more options, you know, which is what I like about you and what you're doing with Print Academy, is that you're showing people those options and explaining like, hey, you can do this, you can do that. You had me on the one time and I basically kind of broke down all of our like products that we've printed over the years to promote the studio, you know, and it's like I said, we did a newspaper at one time. We did a big book, a smaller book. Like we've done client specific books where we collect all the work that we did for Mattel and Hot Wheels over the last 15 years, put it together in a book and hand it out to all employees. Like, this is what we've done for you, you know? So, just stuff like that, like showing that stuff on your, you know, your thing was great. I thought that was, you know, cool that people could see that, and that you had, you know, basically this platform for people to learn and see what's out there.
Yeah, and the variety of stuff that you guys have printed for a whole bunch of different reasons. All of that ties into like brand building. All of it ties into growing sales and having things to leave behind at clients. You know, you guys are dealing with some big name clients. And if you walk in and drop off just a business card and hope somebody's going to call you, really, it's not going to land. Like 100-page book is going to land.
Oh, yeah. That's like the equivalent of like the fire stick loose in the box.
Yeah, that's, you stand out in the way, especially like you were saying, sort of this like everything's coming full circle, or pendulum swing, or however you want to think of it.
Yeah.
It's swung so far in the digital direction that print is noticed. There's people, it gets attention right away. You know, great packaging on the store shelf when you come across it. And the world of especially packaging is just, they're doing incredible things out there. The materials, the foils, especially the finishing stuff that goes into it. Not only can you do those things and are they sought after now, but it feels awesome to go from something on your screen, creating it, putting it hours and hours into it, and then holding it in your hand. This is wicked.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, we worked on something recently together.
I've heard.
Yes. And you brought down here. Yeah, I don't feel like we did too much. I mean, you guys did all the heavy lifting and made it happen. You were basically kind of like, hey, you know, can you send us a poster and then make some cool shit with it? So
So Domtar, one of the largest paper companies in the world, if not just South America, but I think the world, like a huge company. So they reached out to us and they produce a quarterly magazine called Paper Matters. And the fall theme is all about education. And then we sort of came up with the idea as well of like, let's really drill the print education home and create this separate piece that teaches something in the print space that designers would be interested in and think is really cool.
that's great.
And then we started talking about what could this education piece look like? What does this thing look like? And it needed cool factor because everything we do has got to be cool. It's got to be fun. It's got to have personality, but it also needs to teach. And so we were talking about teaching color. Maybe we get into extended gamut CMYK or trying to figure this thing out. And the idea kind of hit us one day of like, if we're going to do this in the way we want like a name to come along with it that does awesome work, that people love to just like buy merch from and to have. And naturally, Lincoln came to mind.
Cool. Love it.
And pitched this idea to you. And I knew that you loved print. And I'm like, let's produce something cool. And along with producing this teaching piece, like, let's create a cool poster for you guys to have and to, to remember this and to sell and all of that. So yeah, Domtar's on board. Let's go in with paper. My previous employer, Glenmore Custom Print, out of Vancouver, BC, does amazing work. They hopped on and they're like, hey, why don't we do some cold foil on this thing? I'm like, that's wicked. So saying that, we went back and forth a little bit on like what it would look like. Gabby did a bunch of design magic that she'll get into, a bunch of figuring out. But let me show you what it looks like.
Let's go. Oh, yes.
Yeah, and on top of it, it was like it was actually the Domtar Cougar text, and then that's what triggered the point for the cold foil. Actually, was I was immediately like, hey, this does really well for being uncoated paper and doing foil. Like that's the one. Like, okay, great, perfect partnership then.
Yeah, James at Glenmore called that out. He said Cougar is like the way to go.
That's the one. All right.
Yeah, we should have the mic, right?
Now we're good.
I know, right?
All right. We got a box of goodies here.
The real, actual unboxing.
Probably smell it by now.
Ooh. Damn. Dude, it's trippy.
Yeah, it's well.
Like, yeah, you gotta hold it and get the light hitting it. It looks amazing. Shit.
It has uncoated paper too, which
Which is it's really cool. It makes that dude in the Yeti and the shoes and shit. The shoes on the logo and the beanie pop like crazy.
Yeah.
That's rad.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. This is great.
Cool.
Can the camera see? Like you're gonna kind of run through it, Kevin,
Yeah.
but it almost looks like the foil is on top of the black ink on top of the Yeti illustration, right? But just in that area?
So this is actually, the foil goes down first.
It does.
So the reason why this is like a darker black is because the black is now put on like a glossy first surface, right? So the foil being glossy and kind of foil, the black has that darker, richer color compared to like the uncoated on the outside. But yeah, so that was a whole like, do we do this? Do we not? So I broke it down trying to think, but we thought it would be cool to just have it feel like the fur feels a bit more alive.
It does. Sure.
Yeah.
I feel like you can grab the dude off the paper.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, that was exactly what we were trying to do.
Damn, there's a shit ton in here. Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
This is great.
Yeah, that kid's $150 on the Lincoln store. Yeah, we're gonna get
We got posters. We got any posters. We'll have these up by the time this comes out. So awesome. Hell yeah.
so it was definitely a learning process. And
Was it? Yeah.
for was learning on like the file side. It was learning on the working with a corporation like Domtar side.
Yeah.
It was like just learning on the like the print side, because when you're doing uncoated and cold foil, one is that it generally doesn't work. So Domtar and Cougar, it works great in this, which is where it's at on that, because it's such a smooth uncoated surface.
Gotcha.
But also like the way that cold foil interacts, like if you're doing hot foil, it just irons it out. You get this like mirror-like reflection of things.
Yeah.
So that's hot foil.
Yeah.
But you're doing cold foil, it like peels off of a roll. Like you print adhesive, so you could make foil, like select a cyan channel,
Okay.
then make it just on the cyan dots and charge things. Like you can get super technical with it.
because it's the ink and stuff. And so some of this actually is percentages of foil, and like that'll all show up in the files too when I do. But yeah, so you can really pull back, you can, see the difference. And like you said, play with it. So you have that half toning and different like gradations of it and stuff.
So you can do gradients in foil. You can do, so there's like, areas in there where it's like 50% screen of foil.
Okay.
Right? And you just are building this depth and creating a lot of really unique looks with foil. So that's what makes cold foil so unique in its process and in a way that you can build it as part of something like this.
Let's see what it took to put this together, because I know I basically sent you a t-shirt file.
Yeah.
Like, that's our T. It's that T graphic. Basically, so
Yeah, so we started with this, and then it was like, okay, good stuff. Let's move forward with it. So yeah, I got the file. And it was a fully, Photoshop. It's a rastered image. It's just like all of the black layer and everything's kind of one big blob.
Pretty boost.
Yeah, exactly. So going with that, and again, kind of newer territory, but I knew that we needed to at least kind of create a different layer for the foil. So the foil is going to have to go down first, and it needs its own layer entirely. But then it all opened up with like it being cold foil. Cold foil, you can do a million different things in a million different colors and a million all of that. So it's like we have this opportunity to really go ham and try it out rather than just doing, let's do one color of gold or one color bronze or something.
And James from Glenmore was the one who actually said, well, okay, let's do a bunch of different versions of this. Let's try a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
Let's see what looks the best. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So we had like 7 and
but in order to do that,
yeah, and in order to do that, I had to separate it all. So I came up with this version of like everything is separated. I basically like clipping mask or like brush masked all the items of it. So the hat has, the shoes have different things. Every single item has like a different version that we could play with, and then add different color lays and et cetera, et cetera. So and it kind of ended up looking like this little version. And then I did the always grinding. I really felt like, I think that was going to be a cool thing for people to have on their wall, like really strong. So I felt really nervous about it. I was like, oh my goodness, I don't want to like mess up their stuff, but I kind of ran with it. And
that's cool.
Yeah. So so then all of this stuff is just like totally separated and had to be done for the purpose of this cold foil.
And you can see it when you see the poster in hand and you see the reflection and kind of what she did. It definitely comes across in this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it had to be done right, or you would definitely see if it was not, color blocked and clipped out.
For sure. Yeah.
It would have been very noticeable.
So I'm, built it the way it is. It's all separated and organized. But it took that time in the beginning, but it gave us a lot of cool things to play with also. Yeah. So this is the difference. So we talked about the different levels of foil too. So these are different foil. So this was 50% foil. This was at 100% foil. What does 70% foil look like? And so on that, it's basically half toning the foil as if it was an ink and you're screening it back. Yeah. So you're getting a little bit more of the CMYK in there versus the silver coming behind it, right?
So in the end, like this poster, CMYK plus, how does that work with the cold foil? Was it multiple passes or how many?
Yeah, so
that file looks like I'm looking at like 8 other colors there. This file on the right there.
So
it's looking gnarly.
It's just CMYK
and percentages.
So it's just CMYK, but so the foil layers, the foil percentages, is the half toning on just the foil. So it's and we have a clip of it as well, but it's basically a silver sheet. So the silver sheet goes down first.
Okay.
So it's printed wherever you want the ink. So if I was to kind of like, here, let's see here. If I do this, that's basically what's silver.
Okay.
So the foil on that one is that, and then every single other one has, different versions as well. But yeah, so there was a few different things we were playing with. Like this one was just the smokestacks, the hat, like we want the logo versus this one. So it's 4-color process plus a silver. Yeah, like it have adhesive that goes down and then the silver sticks to it and you're running it all in press.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just CMYK, but it really creates this different thing. But yeah, so we had, we were playing with these orange colors, and then sort of we were like trying to get coppery stuff of like, okay, do we want more white and black? But then in the end, with it being cold foil, we really wanted this version that's like a full color thing. I mean, we even played with, okay, what if the black doesn't work? Because the black is all full 100% black ink. Actually, it's a rich black.
Yeah.
We made a rich black on there. So we weren't sure if it was going to be too much ink and all of that. So we were even playing with these, these like white background versions of just silver.
That's sort of white background color. Do you like a clean background? That thing?
Yeah, this is our main Yeti guy. Yeah, so then this was basically kind of the start of something, of getting the Yeti in full color. And we're like, why not, right? You have the option for coil foil to go hard and just like color everything,
Yeah.
versus the ones that were over here that were just like coppery colors, which, you know, you guys do so much of, so we really like that Lincoln brand.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was this, and it was a chaotic process of getting into, literally, like, I have a bunch of links of all the different versions of like the different foil layers that I had to separate and save individually as bitmaps, so that like it could be turned into things, and then the individual PSD files of each color version.
So that's your final file in Illustrator?
My final file was in Illustrator
With bitmaps.
with the Photoshop files and bitmaps for the foil layers. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can even see, so this was our like final, and I have because we were already playing with so many versions of it broken down, I had all these pieces rather than me making one bitmap that had all the foils, because at the same time I have them set to different like tints of my foil swatch spot in there. Like the Washington Pacific Northwest, that is a screen of foil. So it's slightly more CMYK coming through. And yeah, so
Interesting.
it's, I know, really, really crazy.
Yeah.
And we ended up being, so the Yeti is the full version of 100% foil, which we were like, okay, do we do it? Do we not? But yeah, so this is all my little foil layers and stuff.
That's cool.
With linked files. But it was definitely a journey of trying to figure it out and see what worked.
Yeah.
And then also you guys, you know, trusting us in this process of okay, it's me, little me. It's like this like Lincoln, you know, masterpiece in front of me, just not wanting to mess it up, I guess, a little bit too. So Dave had to talk me out, but yeah, I appreciate like the trust in it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. Yeah, we ended up going with what it is now, and we thought that it looked really cool to have that sticker kind of, I don't know, them pulling off as fur a little more. But it was day-to-day decision.
So let's show you these fresh sheets and how this all came together, these different versions. Start with this guy.
Ooh, look at all the color up.
This up here.
Ooh, yeah.
As you can see, we've got our 4 different versions. We got different coppers and yellows we're trying to bring out different colors with. Really experimenting on what we're foiling, what we're not.
Yeah.
And even in this version, if you can see there's 3 different gradients of foil in the background, because we tried to really like just give the whole thing this glitter feel.
Yeah.
But it just didn't look like crap. So we just didn't go that direction. Ended up like really liking the Yeti in brown here. But to get to that point, we had this other second test run. Where we've tried some lighter background stuff, tried some gunmetal foil, these trees, just the outline and foils of the same green.
Yeah, but the
Foil. Yeah.
did one of the process as well too is like with cold foil, because your white is now gray. Like it's this, I mean, it's a shimmery gray, but so you will lose that. And what does it look like when you start messing around? It's
Completely different.
yeah, right. Just lighter, the way the light hits it.
A huge difference there. We even tried like different greens and foil up there. What green looks better for the trees.
Yeah.
And then as part of this Domtar collaboration, one side is the poster piece on a text weight paper instead of the cover weight that these are on.
Yeah, and that's
And then this is the back of the poster, our teaching side.
That's awesome.
So we first went into it trying to experiment with this like foil chart to see how that would look, and it didn't turn out great. So we got rid of that and did something different. But we kept these separations in the top.
Yeah.
And the way that the purpose is like, that's how you teach this stuff. Like it takes these layers, the foil, the C, the M, the Y, the K, to bring this thing to life and make it all come together. So on the back of the job chart pieces that are folded in those magazines, you'll see the teaching on the back and our stuff on the front.
yeah, and the final, yeah, I got the final here too. So yeah, it was like call out to what is cold foil, and then that actually being the separations and all that goodness. So it's really teachy pieces, which we love to do.
Yeah.
The whole purpose, right?
Then I got some other folder or press sheets if you want to have a look at some.
Yeah, this is with a really cool part. So we were just kind of like going through.
So once we decided on the final poster,
Yeah. Just
there you go. So that's just straight for So that's adhesive and foil. It's cool. On the press sheet.
Yep.
And then with the CMYK on top, we just started to really sort of experiment and play around with different separations. So you ended up with this one that's just like
That's the cyan or the magenta.
magentas, which just magenta and foil. And we got into like, let's do the cyan as well with some foil
And the black.
Disco Yeti.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Wow.
So that we kind of find cool. Well, we tried, but is that the same one?
That's a cyan, but also the black though.
Really like black and magenta together.
Rather than it just being the magenta like the other one.
And then what was really cool is what we just do.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gold. Yeah.
Wow. That's
So it's just yellow, foil, and black.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, yellow.
Yeah, no.
Nice.
So it's just a matter of pulling off different separations and just sort of seeing what it looks like with just those things.
That's awesome.
And then this is the final
Yeah, that's your final on it.
Dude, that shit.
sort of where we ended up on the press sheet.
Press sheet's amazing.
Yeah. It'll go with that process.
That's the one I'm gonna frame. Hey, kid, you want all those with the CMYK marks on there?
Yeah, Jupiter 1 text suite press sheet. I don't know if I finished on, but this is the text suite press sheet. So also our teaching side. So we're showing the separations of everything, showing how it all came together. And, you know, we've got Print Design Academy, Domtar, Lake and Dezyko, and Glenmore all in this collaboration, bringing this thing to life to teach designers, like to show them how it comes together and what this stuff can do.
So when you think about this, like, so if you're a young designer, you're kind of like, whoa, like I have no clue. Like my thought is at times, like if you are involved in like a prep project or you have a client and they're like, hey, you did the branding, it looks great. Now we want you to design our boxes and hey, we want you to source some printed boxes. Like talk to the printer, like go to the printer, introduce yourself, tell them what you're trying to achieve, what the client wants, show them the design. And they will help you get to this point. For sure. You know, like they know, like as a designer, a lot of them don't get this deep into print, you know, unless you're doing crochet after day after day.
Yep.
You know? So if you just have cool print projects each year, work with a printer. Find a local one that, you know, you trust. That's, you know, that's cool that, you know, you want to work with.
Yeah.
And then ask them questions. They will coach you through this. They will make a lot of the right choices like you're doing. I mean, this is, you know this process, you know, like what to pick, what not to pick, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of designers like just don't get this deep in the weeds if they're not doing packaging all the time, you know?
Yeah.
But you can, and it's just asking the printer, you know, having them help you out. Like,
We have a full module. Literally, I
Or literally, can't we? Either one, I go to the frame.
Yeah.
That word, I really like Rich to
Totally.
help you to that point and show you the beginning and show you paper and talk you about paper and how to pick the right one. But yeah, like Gabby said, we have the whole
module on just working with printers and making sure that you're validating them by like, hey, can I come see your location? And like, are they like, oh no, or you know, they're like just really building that relationship. And it's so important because like having that one-to-one, and printers want to help. You know, they want you to succeed, right?
Absolutely.
People are a little scared maybe or like don't know, but yeah, going and asking, like you said, asking printers those questions, they're willing to figure it out, and for sure. And yeah, so the whole module for us.
in a lot of ways, they're like designers in the fact that every new print project, they want a portfolio piece out of it.
Yeah.
Just like you do with your next design project, you like, hey, this is my best portfolio piece, right? Every printer's thinking the same way. So they're like, shit, if I can make a suggestion, do this or that, and this thing comes out amazing, this is my next portfolio piece. Yeah. So they are, you know, it's makes sense for them to want that thing to turn out amazing. So
Totally. Yeah.
that's a question. Yep.
Yeah, and one of the things with that per tour is like you go in, they'll show you around. And if you've never been in a print shop before, you get to see some really cool stuff coming together. You get to see other inspirational work. But you'll walk out of there with samples, swatch books. You'll start building your own collection of print stuff that you can refer back to when projects start coming your way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's sort of this, like, that's why, you know, we did this piece, is to be able to show it and show your client. But we have a few other, like we've done a few other projects of just paper swatch books or just those tools to build. One of the summits we did as well too, someone included an embossing grate so you can actually see the different ones. But so building these tools, whether it's through your printer, asking them for samples, and then being able to just collect other stuff too, right? That you're like, hey, this is what gold foil looks like. This is what cold foil looks like. And showing up, like your client is saying, wow, because they don't understand the same too. Like when the concept of it all is so baffling anyway. I mean, to designer, a client who has no concept of visual production or that, like, can you make the logo bigger?
Yeah.
You like it? So can I say an RGB file? Like, so to show it in person, have that relationship and see it as yourself or for your clients, like game changer. Yeah. Nothing like that first walk through a press shop too.
So that's one of the things, kind of leaning into what we were talking about a bit earlier, where if designers have that perception of, print is dead or there's not much going on in print, you're missing out on a whole section of design where you can create these brand experiences for your customers, for yourself even, that go out there and have potentially lifelong impact. Like you think of the nostalgic things that were printed, from your own childhood. Mine is like Goosebumps, like Magic Eye books. Yeah. There's Pogs even, like this printed things. A designer put that together. An illustrator put that together.
Yeah.
And even seeing that pendulum swing now, they're coming back where more and more print is happening. Pokemon cards are printing at record numbers. How true. The Onion, like satirical news site, they're producing a newspaper again for the first time in a decade.
Yeah.
There's magazines that are coming back. There are now, which is cool to see. Yeah.
A lot.
Even baseball cards, like Fanatics is one of our clients. We went to Fanatics Fest. They had this huge area of baseball cards, and now they're making UFC cards and like all these other sports. And I'm like, that shit is back. Like, and they're gnarly printed, dude. Yeah. I went to Fanatics to the Fanatics bought Topps baseball cards, right? And so their headquarters is in Dallas, not far from one of our clients. So I went over there, and they had press sheets like this. One of the cards, like, dude, it was like 16 colors of like foils, and it fought like so gnarly for a little baseball card. But then when you saw the end product, you're like, holy shit, this looks expensive. That was cool. Yeah.
I mean, now that they have a bunch of different foils, like that'll be a cold foil job for sure.
There's a ton of this out. Yeah, it's cool. It's great. Great.
Print makes impact, man. It's so cool to take that digital file and get it printed, produce something in print. You guys are doing tons of print, brand books, like even, projects for your company trip you guys do.
Yeah. Make reads and things. Like we do trips and different things. Yeah, we make a printed version usually, and we're working on a 10-year book right now to, highlight the studio, what we've done, with marketing for Lincoln over the last 10 years. So, yeah. No, print's not going anywhere here at Lincoln. So I appreciate you guys just, backing it and then doing the Print Academy. And, they encourage people like watching, check that out and go to your website. And you got another one coming up. So what's next for Quickie Podcast and Print Academy?
Quickie Podcast has got a lot of episodes in the bank. So those are going to get rolling out over the next few weeks. For design podcasts, we'll put on hold for a little bit while we're building up a summit. Yeah. So our third summit is coming up in February this year. Cool. So look for promotion on that soon. We've been reaching out to speakers and chatting with some speakers. And, it's great and one thing to have courses and membership that are available for designers to learn print and packaging stuff. Not all designers are going to be able to do that. Right. And I totally recognize that. And wanting to sort of like rising tides lift all ships, like get all designers, no matter their income level or ability to buy a course right now, creating print. Yeah. Learning how to create great print because it's so rewarding and it feels so good to do. So the summit is what kind of came out of that ethos and that idea. Yeah. So it's a completely free event. There's upgrade options if you want, but you can attend, you can check out the summit, you can watch some talks and learn totally free.
That's awesome.
Just go out there and create print.
Yeah. That's great.
Print Lilitos on it for sure. Yeah. And then, and I will email that too. Like obviously like with our membership stuff too, like got a free trial, like, just go and just to get in there and build like a community. Like we got our own little private community in there. And that's something that was like really big on the summit is like how cool the community becomes. Yeah. So it's like, okay, community, everything. All of us meeting new people, sticking together enough, like a level of the summit rolls around and we get to all be in the same, like,
your members in there who are doing their first print projects out. We're doing label designs. We had one just a couple of weeks ago who showed like, I just did my first project with foil. Yeah. And how it's turned out. And thanks to you guys for helping us put this together. And really, it's cool. It's such a good.
It's so good. Like that's the feeling, right? So that's what we do for that. And it's print. Like it's like all day. We'll be here for hours talking print.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming down. I appreciate this collaboration. You turned out amazing. Love the posters and
Thank you so much for having us here and being a part of this collaboration, sort of buying into this idea.
Yeah, the trust in the process too.
Process, this vision of creating really cool teaching materials for this print space for designers to have and digest, because it's cool. It's a lot of fun and it's super rewarding.
right on. But there you guys.